GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome, everybody, to our weekly Second Amendment wrap-up, where we look at what happened this week in the Second Amendment and just that, none of the other extraneous stuff. So we have a poll going over here. Did you know that it was an amazing week for 2A? And you can vote on that. So right now we have 4 votes. 2 of them are good, and 2 of them are bullshit. So we'll see if anybody else votes tonight as we go live here. We share the screen, and we're looking at the video that we're actually hosting right now. We're looking at the video itself. That's happening. Also, we have the comments over here. So while, yes, we can post comments up on the screen like this, we also watch every comment raw, because that's how we roll. So let's dig in. We're going to take a look at what was good this week, focused on Second Amendment. Let's zoom in a little bit so y'all can see it a little bit easier. And we're going to look at the description of this video. Here we go. Let's see. First thing was GunFreedomRadio had a couple of shows this week, but the one that I think stands out was the conversation with Stephen Willeford. Has anyone listened to this? We are watching this, or this is a live conversation, so we'll see if anybody over here. What I'm wiggling right now is the live. I'm sorry if I'm getting anybody seasick over there, but I'm wiggling around the chat. So did anybody see this conversation with Stephen Willeford? So if you don't know, something happened in Texas and Stephen took care of business. It's a pretty interesting story. We've heard it before. In this conversation, Stephen talks about the people in the church, and that was amazing to listen to. Highly recommend listening to this conversation. Let's see. So next up, we have Tony Simon on the Instagram. Had a pretty interesting situation over here. What do you call these Instagram videos that the kids do? See how it's up and down? That's how the kids do it these days. And this is about 20 minutes while Tony's in the vehicle driving to an event out of state, I believe, in Pennsylvania. So as he's driving, he talks about being a Second Amendment activist and methodologies, mindset. Really interesting discussion from a dude who knows what he's talking about. So that's over on the Instagram. Again, up at the top of the list because it was so good. Well, you know what I forgot to put in here this week? Oh, snap. I don't have the Locked and Loaded shows in here, and there was 2 of them this week. How did that happen? Probably because of a project I was working on that clogged up my history. So, man, I got to edit this. I'll open it in a new tab and edit over here. And then I have to open this in a new tab. We'll open this over here. We'll go into the history. And we got to go back, way, way. I've been working on projects, so there's a lot of videos in here. So there's Stephen Willeford. This is Sunday. So if we keep going back, boom, we get this. And then if we keep going back, we get a double episode of Locked and Loaded. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here and we're going to add Locked and Loaded while we're live. What? Yeah. because unlike a lot of shows that would, well, not be able to do this, they wouldn't technically understand how to do this. They wouldn't be able to do it. They also wouldn't do it because they got their fancy scripts that they have to follow. We don't have scripts. This is all about the Second Amendment here. So we're including valuable stuff in here. All right, so Locked and Loaded had 2 shows this week, last week, however you want to look at it. And the first one was like their, let's call it their regular show. That was on Saturday. It was all right. And then they had a special episode with KD, which was also pretty good. So we're definitely including both of those. Now we can close all of that stuff and click save. And now those are both in the list. So let's just act like they're in here. I don't want to miss my cool ninja snapshot over here. So we'll just act like the 2 Locked and Loaded shows are in there. Definitely worth paying attention to. I watched the one, the normal, I call it, the weekly Locked and Loaded show. And that's about as much news of the week as I can handle, whatever they touch on or address. And then the KD one was really good. So that was a good conversation with KD. So highly recommend it. Then, well, I guess I did have KD's one in here. So, or did this just update? It couldn't have updated. So next up we get, oh, it must have updated. That's interesting. So now you had KD going live on YouTube, which is new for him. He's been going live on Instagram, and I never watch it because of the whole thing we just showed there with Tony. It's goofy. It's for the kids. It's up and down, and I have to watch it on a phone usually. So KD started going live on the YouTube. He's got his Stogies, Straps and Stogies and Straps channel, which is all right. It's like a one-on-one interview conversation style channel. He's only had a couple of interviews over there so far, but those will be good. And then this thing that we're pointing to here is just on the Real NOC, the No Other Choice channel, and him talking about Joe Rogan. It was interesting. Bunch of stuff I never would have paid attention to, but obviously everybody's paying attention to it right now. So KD has a good perspective on it. Let's see. Then we've got NSSF. Oh, all right. So here's the deal. This was 2A and everything. Like it is 2A. But let's get real. So let's see what's going on in the comments over here before we get too carried away. First off, welcome to everybody who's joining us live. Kingpin was first one to show up, then DJ, then Gizzard, who after Quarks me on this show. So I'm pressured. Now I feel pressured. Let's see. Then we have, that means that Gizzard does a live show after this one. Not saying that this is the warm-up or anything. Then you got Woods out there and G23 from the Pacific Northwest also. And then Kingpin, then all you say Kingpin? Yeah. So then we get into anybody else? Trapper. All right, so wait a minute. What? I'm being corked right now? How can I be being corked? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, by their video game channel? I don't care. That's not corking. Little kids playing video games is not corking. They're using the black and white TV in the basement, so it doesn't matter. All right, so it was a great vid. Tony was on point, and he's been more Insta active. Okay, you're talking about Tony Simon's video. That was a good one. That was a very awkward cough. All right, so next up, Trapper saying there's a Pro 2A bill in West Virginia called the West Virginia Keep, Bear, and Drive with Arms Act of 2022. It affirms that carrying an uncase loaded arm in the vehicle is legal and does not equate to poaching. Well, first off, it does equate to poaching, because why else would you need it? Except for either violence or poaching, why would you need a gun? That's the only two reasons that a person would need a gun. It's violence or poaching. So that's good to know about, though. We don't hear enough about West Virginia stuff. And then the bill was passed by the House of Delegates. It now heads to the Senate for a vote. Since the 1930s, it's been illegal to carry a loaded long gun in the vehicle. And if you're caught, the DNR will steal it from you and fine you because they catch you with it in your car. They automatically assume you're going to take game illegally, of course, or violence. Let's not forget violence. So, yeah, that's cool. So they're getting, basically, a bill is passing towards being a law that will end that tyranny. That's good. Good to hear. Hopefully the critters will live through it. Let's see. And Kevin was just shutting the door on a lot of BS. The live was a blast. That's true. He definitely went off on lots of topics that night. Tag Team Freedom. Oh, is that what you're calling it? After quarking? That's the politically correct term for the after quark. Poaching. Yep. Let's see. It's good to know I grew up in the Midwest and it was not a big deal at all to have a rifle. I don't know about that. Everywhere I've ever lived, it's all about, they figure you're poaching. If you've got a gun, you're poaching. All right, so now let's get over. Speaking of poaching, look at this awesome little hawk. Is this a Harris hawk? We don't know. I don't know by looking at it. But all hawks look the same to me. So this is an interesting thing. NSSF, I got to love hate with them. They're good. They're not bad. But I don't agree with every single thing they do. They tend to suck right up to government and some things that they probably have to suck up to, but I don't like sucking up to. So in this case, they're talking about a public-private partnership benefiting wildlife and habitat conservation, which does exist. I'm not denying the fact that there are subsidies placed on our industry and on us as participants in national resources of the country, which is all right. You got to distribute and deal with the management of the natural resources in some way. However, government can be the stewards. They don't have to be the only option. So as much as this fluffs up and is all happy about the system that exists and is acknowledging the benefits of the system that's happened, I'm also willing to play, I don't know what to call it, devil's advocate, or challenge the concept that government and industry mandates are the only way to have dealt with this. Things like Ducks Unlimited, where a bunch of interested people purchased property and created situations, from my understanding, is another option. And I don't have a problem with civic or private organizations attempting to accomplish and then not needing government mandates. So anyway, that's NSSF trying to do a good thing and me shitting on it. So there you go. This is 2A, not news of the day. Let's see. The law against it never stopped poaching, and you can't stop it. It's always going to happen. Punishing the rest of us who want freedom of defensive arm choice isn't right. Or just somebody that's just driving. I mean, that's just penalizing somebody who isn't thinking about poaching, obviously, because if you're a poacher, you're not going to leave your gun laying there anyway. You're going to do something to hide your gun because you're freaking poaching, right? Like, they already know the deal. They're the ones that are breaking the law. So the law only sweeps up everybody else who isn't aware of the whole situation with poaching and may have just decided to, they had a situation where someone was under stress and their friend asked them, hey, can you take this rifle home for me? And they said, sure, let's get that rifle out of here so it's not part of the equation, and let's get you some mental health or assistance for your situation. And the firearm was, of course, the last thing on your mind because it was the least important thing in the situation. And now you're going to become a victim on your way home based on a archaic law that's based out of fear and assumption. Yeah, that's great that law is being destroyed or removed. That's great. Was pretty normalized, it seems now in many ways. I don't remember when the change came, but it wasn't too long into the 90s. That's because you lived in reckless Michigan, probably. All right, so next let's go all the way back to the video that we started this whole thing from. And that was the thing with the NSSF. So next up would be armed attorneys. So what's your opinion on armed attorneys? Are you listening to this? Are you being part of this conversation? Or are you just observing? Are you just sitting in a chair, eating popcorn and watching? Or are you going to answer the question about, what do you think about armed attorneys? This YouTube channel, set of attorneys, what do you call it? A flock of attorneys. A law firm out of Texas that I believe works with US Law Shield, because they have a whole bunch of videos from US Law Shield that I found when I was doing some research on CCW insurance. So I've been intrigued by this channel and wondering about what they're going to do. And they've been putting out these videos that I've been paying attention to. I include them every once in a while because they're short and sweet and to the point. I don't disagree. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but we're talking lawyer stuff and we're talking Texas. So a lot of times things are wrong in Texas or just backwards or weird, but they're allowed to do it. So you can't complain, but they're just not the way I'm going to do it. So some of the situations that they talk about are just because they're in Texas and the laws are weird there, but other things they talk about are interesting. And I'm curious. So DJ saying he has not checked them out. And G23 is a big fan. Armed lawyers. I'm not saying lawyers are the worst, but so yeah, it's a group of lawyers. There's only the two of them that are in the videos, but it's like a whole law firm that they represent. And they do their own channel and they do premieres. Have they done live? I don't know if they've done live. They've done some premieres and they post some scheduled produced videos. And then I've seen them live on other channels when they've done presentations for US Law Shield, which is one of those CCW insurances. All right, so next up is a video from Sunday, I think, from Brooke, a Great Start Shooting School. She's going to, or was going to, I don't know when this dinner happened or is happening, but there's the Connecticut Citizens Defense League has a dinner. Oh, it says this Saturday, so there you go. So it looks like that's tomorrow, maybe. And one of the things that Brooke is bringing is this raffle prize pack thing, and it's a box full of loot, and some of the loot is the stuff I sent her. She bought off of me, and then she made a video about it, so it was kind of cool. Posted a video or a link back to that, and I believe the deal is if you show up at the Connecticut Citizens Defense League dinner, you could win that as a door prize or something, I think. So that's cool. Then you got Jaeger posting a thing about ammo psychosis. And yeah, there's a bunch of people that have issues because they can't handle the legit real stuff. Jaeger offers legit real stuff. And he does it in a way that pisses people off. So it's good. So it's worth watching. And then if you know the real deal, you just got to give them credit for what's going on right now. And then you can get another version. So Jaeger is cop, and then contractor, and then instructor. Instructor at a level, let's say 9 or 8 or 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as like ambition and ability. And then you get Ken Hackathorn, who Green Beret back in the day, and then instructor, traveling instructor, worked with Cooper at gun sight back in the day, one of the first traveling instructors. Now, after all these decades of instruction, like literally one of the first to instruct, and to both civilian, police, and military, now works with Wilson to do online stuff, completely comfortable over the years as a competitive shooter, person in the industry, instructor, comfortable in front of a camera and expressing information, like just, I wouldn't say night and day, but 2 examples of pros in their field. So Ken, I got to say, is probably a 10 or a 9, like maybe a 9 once in a while, but a 10, like just what you'd expect the top-notch instructor to offer and to have had for experience or whatever. So this particular one is some BS video about a 2x2x2 drill that Ken likes. That's the mindset, and the skill set is sound, but it's some kind of Wonder 9 or whatever 1911 thing. But anyway, it's a low round count skill building or skill maintenance drill that's pretty interesting. And again, 2 examples of what I respect as far as online instruction. So, firearms instruction is a whole nother thing we'll be getting into maybe this year, maybe next year. We'll see. It's not my number one priority or nothing, but it is interesting. And I'm going to offer my opinion whenever I feel like it. And again, two dudes that are ultimately like ultimate pillars in the realm, and offering their insight through the mediums of stupid YouTube here, with professional, ultimately professionally. Is that the way to say it? So then let's switch gears. Oh, we're almost at the end. Let's switch gears and talk about Dragon Man's, who has need of tour guides. He's been looking for tour guides for a while now for his season that's coming up here for the 2022 season. But this video is like a bonus walk through the museum in 9 minutes video. So it starts out with Dragon Man driving up in his 1950s car, saying, "Hey, I need a couple of tour guides." And then they walk around the museum, and you get to see basically an update of the museum. It's about to open here in a couple of months. So it's awesome. You get to see the museum and all its updates. It's got a whole bunch of new mannequins, I think a couple of new vehicles, and I'm not going to spoil it, but somewhere in about 2/3 of the way here, he shows you where he's about to bust open a wall and make the museum 10% bigger. What? 10% bigger. And I think he said he's doing that construction in February. So Dragon Man's is about to get bigger and better because he's got all these mannequins and he's busting in a Revolutionary War, Civil War section. So the expansion is for vehicles. So I suspect he's got more vehicles on the way. Freaking awesome. So that's Dragon Man, 70-something years old. He just had his birthday a while back, working every day, takes Mondays off. All right, so then we have Ask Gun questions from last week. I don't know why I put that in here. I guess just to kind of plug our own stuff. But we had Dan Todd on last week, and hopefully he'll be on a regular basis. Pretty cool getting some insight from a gun shop owner. Let's see. Do they carry 9 layers of very 9mm? Probably. She mentioned you in the video. Who mentioned me in the video? Who mentioned who in the video? You guys hear about the Washington State Senate passing a magazine limit bill? Yep. Woods is in Illinois. Woods is in Washington, and other people sometimes that are in here are in Washington. It's an opportunity for Washington to work together. That's what it's all about. And they need practice in that. And, they've had black eyes, obviously, but they've also had wins in the past. They're capable. So it's an opportunity for Washington and an opportunity for the rest of us to get motivated. We have interests in Washington, either with a family or business, tourism, or what we purchase. And we can start to use that influence to, when necessary. It's an opportunity for the national level organizations that are either located in or focused on Washington to do more in different strategies also. She's looking into issues on the... Oh, you're talking about Brooke. That makes more sense. She's looking into some issues on the CCDL site. I found some broken stuff, and they didn't have a link through memberships. It's like $25 for their suggested. Well, that's nice of you to find little errors in a website, which is almost always impossible for someone who isn't building the website to deal with. So it's almost like just complaining about a tiny little detail that almost nobody can do anything about. The house has until March 10th or it will die. So please call the switchboard. What is this? Some kind of link to the switchboard? How about a number for the switchboard? Got a number over there? The patches she loaded into the prize. I need a black one. I'm not going to drive through the night to Connecticut. Well, Gizzard, you're asking Gizzard to drive to Connecticut to pick you up a patch? That's a big ask. Those black patches were a short run of opposite color CCDL patches. So I don't know if I have any more or not. I may. All right. So with that, let's go look at the poll. We're about halfway through. We could go look at Instagram. That's always an option. So now we have 11 votes. So that means there's approximately 5 ATF plants. Those are narcs that hang out. They're agents from the ATF that just hang out and watch live chats, looking for mistakes or clerical errors, looking to be used against us in the court of law. So we always have to watch out for them. They don't participate, or when they do participate, they think it's funny to click on the other button. That's why we put the other button there. And then we have 6 legitimate votes, and those legitimate votes are mixed between, of course, you know, it was an amazing week for 2A, or you didn't know. So if you didn't know, yeah, it was a pretty amazing week for 2A. These things in here were mentioned, but there was also some other stuff that happened. I guess I didn't post in here the video from Crump about that range. So did anybody see this giant range that's happening in Virginia? I don't know where it is in Virginia, somewhere in Virginia. And I'm guessing it's near Washington, D.C. because it's fancy. And it's got a health club mixed in with it. And that's pretty neat. And as I've seen some of the gun clubs happen where they're big, elaborate, fancy indoor gun ranges and country club type of situations, this one having the health club in it is cool. So that's going to normalize both sides of it. It has childcare. It has some other things like the cigar lounge and restaurants and other, like entertainment type of community things. So definitely liking the idea of the moving the Overton window, given the new generation of gun owner a place to be that isn't having to move in on the old or having to learn the traditions of the past. Got to have new in order for growth. So it's really cool to see that video. It's sort of entrepreneurial, capitalist venture type project. Really cool. And not small scale, very large scale. All right. So thanks to Woods for putting the number up there. So if you want to, 1-800-562-6000, 1-800-562-6000 would be the way you could call the state of Washington's switchboard and let them know that the bill to reduce the capacity of magazines on firearms is an infringement and should not be considered. Do we know the name of the bill or the number of the bill? I don't know the number of the bill. So for anybody that doesn't want to look, they could just listen to that part. All right. So then, Foss was out there at the rally grabbing patches, it seemed like. So that's pretty cool. Are you needing a black version of the CCDL patch? I believe that's exactly what he was saying. All right, so are we getting any kind of feedback on the... Let's end this poll. Let's see if we get a... So this is YouTube censorship here. How long this takes for this poll to come up. This is an indication of YouTube censorship happening. Should we look at the IG? That means IG and the internet. That's what the kids call the internet or the Instagram these days. So we've done a couple of projects this week. Let's go over to the website or to the channel while everybody's over here voting in the new poll that's cooking. Boom, there it is. So we have a tab. That's the tab where we have a lot of fun with the community of people who hang out with our channel and look at the kind of stuff we're having fun with. Oh, it's Free Hat Friday. What? Yeah, if somebody buys something over at the store today that's $25, you get one of these hats. They're brand new. I haven't even worn any of them. And we'll just cram that in with the other stuff you buy for free. All right, so there's that range I was talking about. Crump did a 30-minute video walkthrough of the range. Pretty interesting. Here's one of the things we're talking about, this CCW insurance. And then the other thing we're talking about is the 2A rallies. So guess what? Rallies are happening this year. It's not like last year where everybody took a year off because they didn't care about Second Amendment anymore. This year, we're seeing rallies again. Virginia already had one, January. Washington State just had one the other day, yesterday, the 10th of February. Was that the perfect one? No. Bunch of feedback on that one, but at least it was one. Did you have one yesterday? They did. Then Arizona's going to have one on the 19th of February. That is Saturday coming up, not tomorrow, but the Saturday after that. And sounds like a lot of people are coming down to be at that one because it's the one to be at. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun, pretty awesome and whatnot. Let's see. We've got West Virginia having a rally on February 21st. I think that's during the week one. We got Iowa doing one on February 24th, the Iowa Second Amendment rally. Georgia has the best Second Amendment rally, period. A march for the second on March 2nd. We'll just pause for a moment there for dramatic effect because Georgia wins. Georgia March for the second on March 2nd, 2022. That's happening. Then you got Illinois iGold happening on April 6th, Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day, where all the gun owners in Illinois go to the Springfield, Illinois, their capital, and talk to the representatives about firearms-related issues. And then Michigan, the laziest state that looks like a mitten, is going to do their march later on in the year when they get around to it in September 21st, 2022. Instead of doing it on September 22nd, 2022, they're doing it on September 1st. So what are you going to do? Anyway, at least they're doing one. Are you doing one? Is your state doing one? Well, if it is, then let me know because that's the only ones I could find. And we went live for a while, looked around, and that's the only ones we could find this year. So it's pretty cool. At least we only missed one. We were able to do this project on the day that one was happening and get out in front of 6 different 2A rallies this year. Hopefully there'll be a lot more. If you head over to the website that's linked here, one of our projects is gun calendars. We have a page there for the rallies. Normally, in a typical year, we'd have a Utah Freedom Rally. We'd also have a North Carolina Stick to Your Guns Rally. We'd also have a Kansas Secure Our Free State Rally. We would have a Colorado Rally for our rights, a New Hampshire Hold the Line event, a Minnesota rally to defend the Second Amendment, an Ohio Patriots Day, and a New York Support the 2A March. Typically, those happen. We don't know that they're not going to happen. We just know that they have not yet, as of yet, been scheduled. So thanks to our Patreons for giving me time to be able to post stuff like that, to do stuff like that, and then post it. And then what I did was post it all around. And hopefully by posting it all around, what that typically does is it pisses off all the people in the states that know about rallies that I don't know about. And they'll say things like, what about the rally and what blah, blah, blah. And then I'll add that rally to the list. So this was the initial stir in the pot. We'll find out all the other rallies. We'll add them to the list. We stick them into this picture, and then we keep annoying everybody about it so that people know about rallies. Tons of people think the First Amendment is bullshit, that it only counts for quill pens and standing around in like muddy lots complaining to each other, or maybe going to some kind of choir and echoing to the choir. And then they hate every other part of the First Amendment. They only like the Second Amendment. But whatever. There's other people that appreciate the First Amendment, and that's the people we make these kind of projects for. All right, so then if we go back to the community channel page, whatever you want to call it, tab, and let's not forget it is Free Hat Friday. If you were to buy something from the store while this chat was live, it would make noises happen. It would get everybody's juices flowing. It would create some kind of purchase frenzy, and guess what would happen? I would pay a couple of bills. That would be amazing. And you'd get all kinds of free hats. You would pick your hat live in front of everybody. You could lord your free hat over everybody. They'd be sitting around hatless while you're describing the free hat out of this picture that you would be getting. What if you wanted a pink hat? It's right there. What if you wanted a hat from a surplus store in Minnesota? Boom, right there. Some other free hat. Boom, all of them right there. All right, let's keep going to talk about this other project, concealed carry insurance. Guess what? There's more concealed carry insurance options now because this thing called Right to Bear showed up. And is that more confusing or less confusing? It's more confusing, obviously. So we started working on this giant project to figure them all out. There's the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, started by Marty Hayes in 2008. There's the U.S. Law Shield, which was started, I believe, in Texas in 2009. You got CCW Safe, started in Oklahoma in 2011. Second Call started in Ohio in 2013. USCCA, I won't comment too much, started in 2013. Something called Firearms Legal Protection started in 2015. We had the come and go of the NRA Carry Guard, which only lasted for 2 years from 2017 to 19. And then now we have Right to Bear on the scene, started this year, 2022. So, yeah, none of them are the same. They all do different things. They all call themselves or allude to being concealed carry insurance. However, they range from prepaid legal to insurance and different things in between, and offer different levels of, I don't know what you're going to call it, like protection or coverage, depending on the thing, of these various elements of our situation as concealed carriers. So as a person who carries a firearm around, we have a criminal situation if we use our firearm. We have a civil situation. So we have a situation between us and the state, which is a civil situation. Did we do something legally? And is the state going to put us in jail for a decision we made? Once that has been gone to court in civil court, in criminal court, then you'll go to civil court potentially, and the family or the victim or the people involved might take you to court and say, sure, you had a legal right to defend yourself, and sure, you defended yourself, but did you have a legal right to use a 9mm? And look at the horrible, horrible things that your decision to use 9mm did to this community and these people, these orphans and these nuns and these other victims. And the 9mm doesn't care, but you're going to have to be responsible for that 9mm in criminal court. So some of these things are insurance in criminal court. Some of them leave you hanging in criminal court. Some of them decide which attorney you're going to use. Some of them expect you to bring an attorney to the mix. So because of this, and because so many people use 9mm, I felt it was time to put some attention to this. So, this took quite a while, and this is about as far as I've gotten before I put it all down and said, we'll pick this up at a later date, because that's how I do projects. I need to take a break from it and let it all absorb and filter before I jump back into it. And usually some things will be more clear, because this is a pretty confusing situation. Once it's all presented, then once it's all created, produced, then I'll start presenting it in different ways to offer as much insight as I can for this I consider very confusing. Maybe you don't think it's confusing. If you're one of the people that's got this all figured out, please let me know. And you could help me explain it, because it seems to be pretty confusing. All right, so those are the things we'll look at, and then we'll go back and see what people's decision was on Instagrams after we check out what's going on over here. Rich flew in and flew past. Then we got DJ saying that is a link to the email addresses of the representatives and senators in Washington. Grab some time and help out. If you have Microsoft Excel, there's a link to serve. Nobody has Microsoft Excel, so don't go around acting like anybody here has Microsoft Excel. All right. I guess you could just call them, but now DJ wants you to Microsoft Excel them. What just happened? Somebody purchased something at the store. Did you hear that noise? That was the store bell going off. So thanks for whoever did that. If you would like to pick your hat. Feel free. Even though you didn't purchase anything for $25, whatever, still, you can have a hat, I guess. And thanks for purchasing something. That does help pay off bills. That's how we keep doing what we're doing over here. All right, so let's take a look at what the poll said about Instagram. Looks like we are going to go look at the Instagrams. All right, so we're going to go over here, go over to here, here, and then here. And this is our Instagrams, if it opens. It did. So what do we got going on with Instagram? Well, let's take a quick moment and describe how Instagram works. This is Woods' picture of his hat for some reason. Some people take pictures of their hats and their clothes or whatever. Other people take pictures of food, right? So here we go. Let's click on the heart, and that's like telling Woods, I love you. I love this picture of your hat, and I love that you posted it. Thank you. I love you. But that's not enough for some people. Like, yeah, sure, you love Woods and you let everybody know about it because now other people can click on this and see how many people love him. All these people love him. Well, that's great, but that's just public appreciation. That's not that intimate. So another thing you can do is click on this little speech bubble and say things like, this hat is amazing. And now you've given that person some moral encouragement. You've publicly announced something about their picture, which makes them feel all, come on, makes them feel all warm and fuzzy or whatnot. And it's taken it to the next level. But you want to take it to even a further level because that's not enough. You love this hat and you let the world know about it, but there's more. You feel like there's more than you can do. You click on this little paper airplane deal. And if I was on my phone, it would take me to a place where I could shove it into my circles. So you've paper airplane it into your circles. And now that's like telling the world, not only do I love this hat and everything about it, but I've crammed it into my circles. And that's pretty good. That's like a lot of stuff to tell everybody how great it is, but you can still do more. And that's clicking this little guy. And when you click on that thing, it shoves it into one of your collections. Now, most people don't have as many collections as me because they don't take this as seriously. But you can create other collections and have different collections and shove this thing into whatever collection you want. And that's how you play Instagram for real. Like if you just want to go look at Instagram like some kind of observer, like some audience member or just somebody who spectates, yeah, just click, just look around. It's anybody can do it. A child could do that. Like a monkey can go in here and do it, or a puppy. You could set a kitten down on some kind of a thing and do this. And a kitten could watch Instagram. You could put a robot in front of here and it could watch Instagram. What it takes to really use Instagram, like look at these tight pants on these people from the Department of Defense. Why would you even allow a picture of yourself to be taken with such tight pants? But these people are super proud of it or whatever. You can interact. A robot just looks at it. A human can interact. Look at this dude shooting a Galil suppressed into a bucket in Las Vegas. Why would he have a Galil suppressed in Las Vegas? It's probably going to a rental machine gun place, and people from around the world are going to show up and spend all kinds of capitalism to shoot that piece of individual freedom and then go home and tell the rest of the world how much America is awesome and their country sucks. So that's one thing, right? So now let's go over to the regular channel over here, and now we're going to go look at all those things that I have chosen to save. And that's the part of the show where we look at Instagram. And that's how they get over here, because I crammed them over here using that little chevron-y thing. All right, so with all of that out of the way, I need to make that I have to have an intern make that into a thing, so then I can just push a button, play that like a commercial or a segment intro, and take a break during that segment of the show. All right, well, I think we'll start here. I don't really remember. Let's start with Gabby. I think Gabby is the video that I used to describe this whole thing last week, if I remember correctly. So there we got Tony going to a range in New Jersey and talking about the first diversity shoot of 2022. Yeah, This dude goes around and gives people an introduction and an orientation to firearms. And then if they're interested, gives them some familiarization, gives them some time behind the trigger for free. When they're all done, they eat and have a good time. And the people that are interested in continuing their experience as a gun owner or a firearms shooter or something, get introduced to people who can take them out as a hobby or help them purchase. And Tony's been doing that on a semi-regular basis now for, I wanted to say 5 years, but it's more like 7 years at this point. Let's see, then you get FPC. No, this is Guns for Everyone talking about the private gun making event in Denver. That was a success, and that was 6 days ago, so earlier last week. They had a gun makers meet. Is that the evolution of firearms? Is that the end of gun control? Let me know. What do you think? 3D printing, 80%ing, private manufacturing. It certainly seems ghost gunning. That seems to be the big issue. Is that just playing the game? Is that part of the mechanism? Or is that the death blow? Is that the checkmate in the whole thing? All right, next you get Stogies and Strapped. I alluded to KD doing this conversation interview type of channel over on the YouTube and over here on Instagrams. He had asked in one of the videos I watched if he liked this format or that format where they're more like looking at each other. I do not like this format at all, where it's like at some kind of 45-degree angle and they're both in these big oversized chairs looking over each other's shoulder. That looks awkward and weird. I would not want to sit there for any length of time having to look sideways at somebody and talk to them, right? So it just looks uncomfortable to me. But this looks like an interesting conversation. I haven't listened to it yet, but I did not know that Ken from Provicadus Group was a police chief. So that's going to be an interesting conversation to listen to. This is more of an intro, a 3-minute preview of it. It's a YouTube video. All right, gun owners of California, Senator somebody or another thinks requiring every public school parent to disclose if they have guns in the home will solve school murders, but this treats every kid like a potential mass murderer. Fourth Amendment, property right or privacy rights. Gun owners of California will work to short circuit Senate Bill 906. So California constantly flooded or rained on with horrible ideas. Gun owners of California is one of the groups resisting and creating awareness. The 2A4CA is a channel I watch that reposted this. So, asking every child to disclose if they have guns in the home. Somebody thinks that's a good idea, and it's not draconian or whatever the word would be, fascist or something. All right, so Sportsman's big supporter of ours. Oh, snap! Somebody else purchased something. I think that would say that was his, that he wants a hat. It has he has a story for his hat. But somebody else just purchased something. Thanks for that. So if Woods wants to let me know what hat he wants, let me know. And then whoever just grabbed a hat, let me know if you want, and I will grab that hat for you also. So Sportsman's is a company out of Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. Cool company, giant company, and they've been a supporter of ours for a long time. So I don't post everything they do or repost everything they do, but every once in a while they'll post something and it'll make me think, oh snap, I haven't reposted their stuff in a while. And this was one of those times. These surplus jackets and stuff that they get, the military jackets that they get, I've always been a fan of. I don't know if anybody else has a bunch of military jackets. When I was a little kid, I could wear more of them because they're almost always, when you buy surplus stuff, it's from some European country where they're like metric and tiny. So when I was younger, I could wear a lot of this stuff. But now that I'm an adult, I can't wear too many of these European clothes. But it's always cool to see what they got going on. And when I can get them, I'm definitely down for paying pennies on the dollar for super strong military clothes. So Woods is saying that hat in his picture is his buddy's name combined with the Greek letter S. Okay, so you had that made then. Also want to give a tip of the hat to a woman named Pat who spent almost 10 minutes on the phone with me, helping me navigate the site and find a link. Oh, okay, cool. So are you talking about the website for the Washington State thing for the representatives' addresses? Because that is cool. If somebody in a government position spent some time with you, I mean, that's not above and beyond, but it kind of is depending on your perspective, I guess. So that is cool that someone would take time to help you out and not just point you in the direction of the bureaucracy or whatever. Let's see. Show me the hats, you bet. So if we go back over to the Instagram, I suppose. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong Instagram. So we go back over to the main Instagram, and there's the hats. So there's a link to them if you want to look at them separate. You already got a Smith & Wesson hat in the pile. If you're the other person that grabbed something, thank you for that. And you got a Smith & Wesson one already coming, so keep that in mind. All right, getting back, we got a Havoc Journal. I don't know if you pay attention to some of these channels I pay attention to, but Havoc Journal is not one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites. It is often one of my favorite posts of the week. How about that? But they also post a bunch of stuff that I'm not a big fan of, so I'm not going to say they're my favorite channel or nothing, but they are a channel I respect. So let's just see. I think I posted this one because of its content. So not so much the pictures, but what it says. So I'll just read what it says here. What causes you to see the world as you do? When you go to work, what is it inside you that furnishes a sense of satisfaction? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to lose that? To experience profound purpose, to live in glory amongst events wrought of the most wretched sorrow? Each tragedy a triumph that can stain the soul, yet grants the initiated with profound insight. In June of 1965, Ed White spoke at the end of the first American spacewalk during the Gemini 4 missions. He said simply, "I'm coming back in, and it's the saddest moment of my life." This, too, can be a soldier's lament. It seems that few occupations can drastically change your worldview in this way. Ed walked among the abyss of the world's end and was forever changed. What earthbound vista could ever satisfy those eyes? Removed from this celestial landscape, a profound sadness took hold as elation gave way to realization that it was over. Now we imagine Ed returning from his walk, and upon returning, decides his time as an astronaut is up, and he chooses to leave. He has faced death enough for any one man. Was away from loved ones and friends enough for several lifetimes. He wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. A horrid treasure, but one that comes with a price. A hoarded treasure. That has totally different meaning. A hoarded treasure, but one that comes with a price. Like a jigsaw puzzle dumped on the dining room table, that feeling of a piece of the puzzle that fits into the larger picture of post-military life for veterans. I will attempt as best I can, to share with you my memories and to transmit experiences through my humble words. Yet, they can only do so much justice, as I am at best a poor writer, so please bear with me, dear reader. I will tell you why as much as I can. I will share with you why the thought of 9-to-5 grind causes me to reel back in aversion, to live life in a cubicle with halogen lights, recycled air, and water cooler gossip as my working comforts is an empty meal that never provides satisfaction. I do not attack those who occupy this space. This is simply how I see the world. Perhaps, reader, you too are a veteran, and like me, find little comfort in the norms of your newly acquired civilian life. Once the veil is lifted, it cannot be replaced. No, that Smith & Wesson one is good to go. We have a couple of those. Yeah, that was pretty cool post. I saw that one, and pretty neat juxtaposition between dude doing a spacewalk and people coming back from service. All right, then you get Stephen Willeford. Again, if you didn't listen to this conversation, Cheryl says in one of her replies to me when I said something on a comment or something that they had intended, or maybe she told me this off air, I don't remember, but they had intended to talk to him about something else. He's actually working with some organizations now, and that's what they really wanted to talk to him about. But when he started talking about the Sunday that it happened, the situation, and then the people in the church, that was the show. The show became, that. So that was a pretty good show. I mean, a really good show, actually. So Buzz Aldrin syndrome? Could be. So I'll remember that one. And then I guess I'm still waiting to figure out what DJ wants. All right, so next up is this gun rights coalition lobby day that happened in Washington. And kind of Washington, adjacent to Washington. Yesterday. So here's the deal. I saw I saw as many people for it as were against it. So there you go. So here's my thing. If you're against it, go make your own. Go make your own perfect one and encourage a bunch of people to show up and outdo them. What is that going to do? It's just going to show the representatives that there's more people of various opinion who have a similar interest in this particular situation. So get off your ass and create a better, different event. I don't understand people who think that they're adding to anything by just shitting on effort. Shitting on an idea, all right, big deal. Shitting on an effort, I mean, you're not getting paid by Bloomberg, but at least you should get paid by Bloomberg if you're going to literally shit on something that's happened. Being perfect is too easy. I like it. All right, next up is a post from Tusk, the Universal Settlement Coin, on Instagram, talking about Gun Owners of America receives a $20,000 donation from Tusk Crypto, launches a Tusk donation initiative. So this is, I think they're basically just kind of talking about the announcement that happened at SHOT Show, where Tusk is working with Gun Owners of America in a couple of different ways. And in order to have alternatives for funding, having a crypto alternative, would be on the playing field. And in order to have a crypto option, we need to get something that exists, right? To have something that's large enough, that has enough motion to be on the radar, and that requires use. So this is an initiative to get people to donate to Gun Owners of America using crypto, or in this case, Tusk. And again, an initiative to get into the realm, into that type of funding function. This is kind of interesting. Post from our friends in Albuquerque. BMC Tactical have been some big fans and supporters of our projects various ways over the years, and we've been a big fan of their project, their gun shop, and their kind of fortes into knives and patches and NFA stuff and other things over the years. They have a second store getting ready to be opened, and it looks like it's a pawn shop, gun shop, NFA gun shop, and jewelry shop all together. So definitely looking forward to that. I don't know Albuquerque enough to know where Menal and San Pedro is, but I think that's still on their side of town, or like in that quadrant of, I think of Albuquerque as the X of the two highways still, but I don't know. So anyway, that's going to be interesting. I've definitely driven around Albuquerque, that I know the different neighborhoods and stuff from checking out the different gun shops there over the years. Oh, DJ wants the Hornady one. No problem. WTTA, Walk the Talk America, has approached Hornady and others about putting the info on their packaging. Yeah, it sounded like from what Mike said, that's a done deal already. Uh-oh. Am I corking a giz? Am I giz corking? Am I being corked? I don't know what's happening right now. There's another post, this time from Foss. Who's this guy? Wasn't he in here? I thought he was in here. Wasn't he in here? Oh, he's not even in here. I thought he was in here. He's not even in here. We're just talking about him. So that guy posted a link to that rally. This one I thought was pretty good. From Gun Policy, which is FPC. The people hate my proposals. Am I out of touch? No, it's the people that are wrong. I think that's a great perspective on it. If they had it a little less stupid, then I think it would be more effective for old people, but whatever. It's not going to be effective for old people no matter what. Let's see. Then we got another one from Gun Policy. This is the entire text of California Senate Bill 906, which is the BS concept that children should tell their school if they own firearms, and somehow by giving them that kind of insight, the school isn't going to abuse that power. It makes a lot of sense, right? Oh, was that the last one? That was the last one. So with that, I guess we're done, which worked out pretty good considering Giz is about to threaten me or somehow coerce me into ending the show. So yeah, there you go. Thanks everybody for showing up live. We go live and talk about the stuff that was Second Amendment focused throughout the week. There was definitely some good stuff this week on different platforms and not just the YouTube. There was definitely some stuff that happened this week that is worth being aware of. And there's some bad stuff that happened. So let's not overlook some of the bad stuff. We have a community, and without getting into all the details, we've got a bunch of humans. We're a community made up of humans. So we've had some human life stuff happen that keeps happening. So I don't want to overlook it. I do want to acknowledge it without getting into all the details, because there's a bunch of it actually. Maybe it's the part of this time of year, getting out of the stress of the holidays has a bit of a consequence. Usually it takes a bit for all that stress to kind of work out, and then some stuff happens, and the other way around. We're about to see some growth. It's springtime and weather's going to start getting better, and got a lot of potential. This year is amazing. This is the end of gun control. We're watching the end of gun control right now. So we're either going to see some motivated individuals stand up and literally just change the game in big strokes, or we're going to see lots of little stuff just erode the old-fashioned paradigms. And the results will be a future without gun control that we've ever seen before. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be new challenges and new frustrations and a lot of fun. So looking forward to that and how everyone rides through all this. It's going to be a lot of exploitation too. It's a midterm year, so a lot of people are going to be distracted by that. But thanks for the people that are making it possible for us to focus on this stuff. There's tons more to be focused on. We've got a bunch of projects coming. I happen to know of a couple of other projects. I guess I heard about a couple of things. I won't allude to too much, so I don't give too many details out there. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome year. I guess at this point, stay tuned tomorrow for the Ask Gun questions on, we have different videos coming out throughout the weeks. Got 26 something videos coming up from the people that signed our 2A resource handbook. We've got something like another 20 something videos going out from product stuff that we've seen at SHOT Show. We'll have a whole bunch of stuff happening with the patches from SHOT Show as the pre-orders show up and get shipped out. And, oh man, even more projects than that. So we got a ton of projects. Like I say, I happen to be in the know of a couple of other people's projects that are just awesome. Can't wait to be able to spill the beans on some of those. And hopefully you're looking forward to an awesome 2022. It's going to be a good one. So thanks for watching. We'll be back to pick you up later. Oops, what am I going to click on here? How about we click on this again? Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of GunWebsites.com. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on Gunstreamer.com or on GunTube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.